Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. If it seems like I'm a little skittish today, there was, just a minute ago, there was a huge, I think it's a Cuban anole that was, it's up in the Bougainvillea. I got some video of it and I'll show it to you, but I don't know enough about them. I know they're invasive in Florida here. I think they can be aggressive, but it's a big anole. I'm used to the small ones that are here. This one was a little bit bigger. So if you see a bright green anole drop out of the bougainvillea on top of me, well, that's a Cuban anole. Today is a beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. It's 79 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is 25 or 26 degrees Celsius. But it's a mid-February day, really warm, beautiful, not a cloud in the sky day today. What I wanted to do today was just a follow-up. One of the viewers contacted me in the comments and said, whatever happened to that new potting mix that I developed using the base of the date palm petioles? And if I ever say I'm going to provide an update and I don't, just put in the comments. I read all of the comments. I try to respond to each comment that you post, and what I'll do is I'll either apologize or give an update right away, or both probably. But what I wanted to do today is just give a quick video of an update of that potting mix. And just to give you a little bit of background information, what I have is these the base of the petioles from my date palm. As I'm trimming my date palms, I cut out this part of the base of the leaves, and because the orchids grow so well on the date palm, I thought, well, okay, maybe I could try to grow some orchids either directly on this, or I could cut this up and use it as a potting mix, or both. And actually, I've tried both, and it's worked out pretty nicely. So let's first take a look at using the intact petioles. So I can't do it with this is kind of a small one, but then some of them I cut pretty big, and this is big. And so what I've done with this is I've mounted some tampensis, Encyclia tampensis. I could do some other ones, but I've mounted some Encyclia tampensis on here. I drill a hole in the top, drill some holes here, and then I've mounted the Encyclias directly on this. So there's a little hook here, and I put the plant right here for support. And the intent was just to see if the roots would grow out and grab onto it, because in my date palms in my front yard, the roots really grow onto this tree, just latch on and just love it. Now, in this environment, orchids will grow on almost anything, but they seem to really like these petioles of the date palm. And here I got to watch out for the anole up there. So here's a couple of those date palms that have the encyclias mounted, and what you may be able to see at the top of both of these is new root growth coming out of the top. And so these guys seem to like it. This has probably been a couple months of growth here. These are larger. What I'm going to try to do actually is to mount some encyclias on some other types of board, and actually I'm going to try to deflask directly on some boards, not this stuff. These are dirty. I need something a little bit cleaner. But what's going on is these things are doing just really well. The roots are growing out, they're attaching. You can see on the back of these boards the holes that I drilled in there, and then I attached, as I've shown you before, with rubber bands and just a little bit of sphagnum. The sphagnum, again, is just for where the roots are direct, where they start out, and the roots, as you can tell, just grow above that and attach to the. So I don't completely cover the whole plants with sphagnum, but just where the root system is, and they grow. The roots grow out of the sphagnum and attach to to the base of the petiole. So this seems to be working pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing that I did that I want to give you the update on is I take these things and I essentially take my chop saw, my power miter, and I cut it up into pieces that are this size right here. So I have these pieces of, and they're little thin pieces of the petiole, and I cut them up in here, and I just, the wood is really soft, and I cut it up pretty easily. And then what you do is you take these pieces like this, and you can crack them and put them in, I made a mix, a potting mix out of this stuff. In some cases I used, the whole intact pieces, but I try to chop them up. Sometimes they don't come apart this easily, and I've got to use my trimmers in order to cut these up. But I've cut them up, and I've used them in the potting mixes. And here's a Phalaenopsis, that is in this potting mix, and as you can see, it's doing pretty well. So the phal has it grows, the roots attach to it nicely, and it grows on the surface pretty well. All right, so that's this phal is doing well. There's actually, I just noticed it today when I pulled out and looked at it, because I don't really pay that close attention to my phals, or at least as close as I should have. But there's a keiki coming out of it, right? So right here, there's a keiki coming out of this phal, and I'll separate that when it gets a little bigger. This thing's still a little small, doesn't need to be repotted yet, but the roots have attached to this petiole base from the date palm, but they've also attached to the pot, so that they attach. Orchid roots just will attach to almost anything that's somewhat porous. Here's another one of my phals where there's a mix. I mixed because it's a bigger pot, and I was just trying stuff. I don't know. So I was just so in here is a combination of leca and the base of the petioles, as you can see here, and the roots grow out and they just attach to everything. And this is doing well enough so that there's a bloom spike coming out of this. The last plant that I want to show you that I potted up in this, the nice thing about this is the petiole mix, it's really airy. It's incredibly light, and here what I did, I put just big chunks. I put, chunks like this in this, just in here, and this is Encyclia tampensis that is just sitting on a bunch of these things, and this thing is just doing really well. I would imagine I'll get blooms out of this, but at the base of this, I can push on this this pot. It's really loosely packed in there. There's lots of air holes in here, and the roots are grabbing onto this, and just really incredible growth. So this thing is doing well. Again, most of these plants, most of these orchids don't need really much to grow on. So this is doing well. So using a combination of the intact petioles and then pieces that are cut from the petiole, this seems to work as a potting mix, but a lot of different stuff seems to work. You can mount orchids really on any kind of wood, and the limiting factor is how long it takes for that to break down. I've got colleagues that just put their orchids just in plastic buckets, and they open, mesh buckets, and they grab onto that. They water them every day or every other day, so they're going to need a little bit more water when the roots are that exposed. But they'll do well in this environment under a number of different conditions, almost on anything. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. Again, I wanted to give you an update of how the plants are responding on the new potting mix that I developed and came up with. If there's anything else you want to see an update on, let me know. I'd be happy to share that with you. I am also excited because I got so many new blooms coming out. I've got some new blooms coming on seedlings that I haven't seen before, unnamed seedlings that I bought from other people, and I've got some repeat blooms as well. But I'm happy to, I'll be sharing those with you later. All right, so that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you liked what you saw and you want to keep on seeing my videos, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. Okay, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video, and happy propagating.